Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the care and propagation of the Hoya linearis. This is a very up and coming Hoya here in Indonesia at least. Over in the West, this Hoya has actually enjoyed its 5 seconds of fame. It's been really popular, I think, in the last 2 years, but I haven't really seen it on Instagram since, so I don't know where they're going. But this is a truly beautiful Hoya. It does flower and it's got this interesting looking leaf that is very fuzzy, it's succulent like, and the care is so difficult and complicated, at least here in my climate. This is actually what I have left over from a huge pot that I got before. I'm going to insert a picture on the screen. Unfortunately, I lost that plant because I think I may have under or overwatered it. It came with me in this really peaty type potting mix that is really smelly. It smells like poop. So I got it at a time when it was not so popular yet, and it was actually a bit expensive, but the prices now have soared. So anyways, I killed that plant, and this is what I have left over. I took cuttings and I managed to save a few. I have one more over there in the nursery. I may insert a clip of it, but that one's so tiny. But I find that in my conditions, they actually prefer sphagnum moss. And I do hear that some people grow them in cocoa peat with perlite or peat moss and perlite, but I'm not sure. I may try to do that in this video where I propagate it different ways for you guys. And I tried propagating this in water, did not do so well. They don't really like that, it seems. But these guys actually like medium to bright indirect light. They can also take a little bit of direct sunlight in the morning, and they actually appreciate that. And I think cooler temperatures also seem to do them some benefit because they're endemic to China, where it's not tropical hot all year round. And the way that you want to water this is you want to keep it a little bit humid and moist around the roots. If you let it dry out too much, the vines will just dry off and you will lose the whole vine. This is very unforgiving actually. They don't really tolerate underwatering. But at the same time, it also will yellow leaves. It will turn to mush if you overwater it. So do not give them any compact type of potting mix and do not overwater them. So this is a very difficult plant. I mean, every condition is going to be very different in terms of care, so you need to find your balance. But I grew this in the sphagnum moss, so I can actually feel the weight of the pot here to know if it's wet or if it's dry. So I'm more confident with it. I actually have this in very bright indoor indirect light, and I water this lightly every day, and it seems to be doing well. This one's living outdoors, and this one just gets rained on whenever. I see some ants here. This is bad news because the next point I'm going to talk about is that these guys are very prone to mealybugs. And the mealybugs, they like to hide, sorry, let me put this down. They like to hide in between the leaves here and the node, but also the worst thing is they can hide right behind the leaves. I'm going to show you right now. There's things in the leaves, like you see the strip, the line underneath the leaves. They can really hide in there. When they hide in there, you can't really get them out. It's really hard. So they have this really fuzzy texture, as you can see up close, which is so adorable. But I think this is what makes it so hard to water propagate them, because the fuzzy plants actually rot quite easily in water. They have a high surface area. That's my theory at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and start propagating this guy, I guess. So let's get started right away. I really love the baby leaves on these. Look at that. It's so cute. I normally would wait until the baby leaves have become bigger and stronger before I cut it, but I don't have the time for that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it like this. This is what my cutting looks like. Actually, it will root anywhere along the stem, but I think the best roots will come from here. You can actually already see a little bit of that aerial root here. Hang on, it's struggling. Don't fight me. Okay, there, do you see that? That's the aerial root. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not even gonna cut this leaf off, and I'm just going to put this back in this pot actually, because it's doing so well here. Poke a hole, and I'm just gonna stick this in, and that's it. Pretty easy, I guess. So the top cutting has the most chance to live, I guess. And this one, actually, the bottom stem feels a little bit long. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit. Okay, and there you go, that's my cutting. And I'm just gonna fold this up, and then I'm gonna put it into the potting mix. In this case, again, this is full sphagnum moss. and it's really wet right now because it rains every night these days. And for the other ones, I'm gonna do 2-node cuttings. So the 2-node cuttings look like this because this is not a top cutting. Yeah, I have a feeling the sphagnum moss actually does give them that airiness. It does dry out quite a bit. I don't compact my sphagnum moss. I kind of just leave it a little bit airy when I put the sphagnum moss in there, so it's got a lot of air running around inside. So I don't want to let this be sitting in water for sure. This plant does not like it. In fact, this is actually a little bit wet right now. I am a little bit worried. But rainwater actually contains a lot of air particles, a lot of oxygen and nitrogen, and these are very beneficial for the roots. So when you have a lot of air particles, you're not as likely to overwater compared to if you use groundwater or tap water. Yeah, that ant is just running around. There may be mealybugs in the roots. If I don't see them on the leaves, it's probably in the roots, because ants have no business in this plant unless it's got mealybugs to support. They have a symbiotic relationship. I really would hate myself if I lose this plant, because it's such a beautiful plant. It's hard to come by now. Not a lot of sellers have it, and it's gotten very, very expensive. I would say, like, I got that huge full pot. Okay, I'm just gonna say the price. I got it for 750,000 Indonesian rupiah. But a small pot like this now would probably cost around that price. Just so you know, that's how much they've gone up in price. Okay, so I'm done with this one. And what I'm gonna do, because it's got ants running around and I'm really worried, I'm gonna add some furadon, and this is a pesticide, and you don't want to touch this with your hand because it's really, really toxic. It's banned in many countries. It's actually really bad, but you know what? I gotta do my thing. I gotta make sure that no pests live here. So what happens is that with furadon, the roots do absorb the chemicals, and then any pests that live in the leaves or in the roots that are feeding on it will die. So if you have pets and kids around, do not recommend this. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So the next one may be a little bit interesting. I prepared a pot of of cocoa peats, and I'm going to cut this one up. And this one I'm going to be keeping indoors because this parent plant was living indoors, kind of under my grow light actually. So I guess I want to keep it there so that it's not too stressed out with new conditions. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and let me poke a hole in here. Just put it in. There, gently. There you go. Don't push it down because I want to keep this potting mix pretty airy and loose. So yeah. Next. I've done this propagation before, but I wasn't so confident. And now I hope I am. I hope I'm doing it right. So what happens when you have 2 nodes cutting like this, I can explain to you maybe, is that this part is going to root. This node right here is going to root in the potting mix, so you want to bury it a little bit. And then these 2 leaves may die off, the lower leaves, depending, I guess, because if it get wet in there, it may rot off. And what happens is that the top here is going to promote new growth from the nodes here. It's going to put out 1 or 2 vines from here. But what happens is that if this doesn't make it, somehow the node below can also still, the node below can also still push out a new vine. Even if these 2 leaves have died off, this lower node may push out something else, a whole new branch. So that's why 2 node cutting may be a better strategy for this. You have a backup plan. Technically speaking, yes, you can use 1 node, but that's just too dangerous on this plant. Look at that, how cute is that? Oh my god, hello. And I'm really impressed with Thailand because I was eating at a restaurant there 2 years ago. I haven't been traveling for a whole year. And they had a restaurant that had plastic linearis. They were just hanging down, like it was decorative. So Thai people really know how to appreciate Hoyas, I guess. While most Indonesians, we don't even know Hoya, what Hoya is, let alone what Hoya linearis is. So we've got a long way to catch up in terms of our Hoya knowledge. And I'm not sure if this plant is actually popular in China because it's actually from there. So if you do know that, do comment down below. I wonder what kind of houseplants are popular there. It's sort of a country where nobody really knows what's going on because they have their own media and their own platforms. But I would really love to know what people are growing in China. So if you're from China and you're a viewer there, do comment down below. Okay, I think I'm done. I could do one more, but I don't know, man. I think I'm done for now. Yeah. Let me grow these out and see what happens. So again, with these, I do want to use a little bit of insecticide, Furadon. Just a little bit, not too much. You'll burn the plant if you have too much of it. And then in this case, I may add, I see some slow release fertilizer, and this one is still around, but for the new plant, I'm gonna add just a little bit, like 5 or 6 pellets. Yeah, that's about it. So I guess I just need to show you an update in a few months' time. I'm so happy to do this. I've been procrastinating this project. So I guess I'll see you guys. I'll update you guys. This is not a very fast propagating plant, but it is a fast growing plant once it's established. At least that's how I feel about it. So let me know your experience with this. Let me know if it's a fast grower or how you're doing it right. I'm sure a lot of people would like to know. Welcome to a 28 days update on this plant, which brings it to about a month exactly. And this is the one that we propagated back into the sphagnum moss. I did put some worm casting on it as a routine. I put it on all the plants out here in my balcony about a week ago. So let's have a look. I see some fuzziness here. This is mealybugs. See? What did I tell you about mealybugs? And Hoya linearis, they just love it. I think I may have to spray this down with neem oil soon. And I see the ants too. Look at that, the ants are just running around. I'm sure there's a lot more mealybugs in the roots. And anyways, I digress. This plant is actually doing really well. I just wanted to show you that every point is growing. Throughout the whole month, I did not see any yellowing or any cuttings that dried off. So everybody actually made it. See, this is the cutting that we made. This is, for example, a pretty good example. Look at this vine that's appearing from the node. As I explained earlier in the video, they do put out new vines entirely from the node. Let's try to focus. Yeah, so everybody's growing. Look at the baby leaf here. Very cute. Oh my gosh, and look at that aerial root right there. And as you can see, the ant is just coming back and forth to the mealybugs. So basically, mealybugs are eating the plant for food, and then it's pooping out the sugary material that the ants harvest, and the ants feed on their poop basically. So they have the symbiotic relationship that way. I'm gonna have to treat that soon. I'm gonna have to remind myself. But yeah, this is doing really well. Let's look at the ones that are grown indoors. Here's my indoor propagation station, and I'm sorry that it's so messy, but I just wanted to show you what the setup looks like. So I do have some common fluorescent light bulb here, and I believe it's powered by LED. There is a grow light. I see something purple like right here. This is from my fish tank. I killed a fish actually, sorry. And then I just decided to hang the lamp here, and this is our plant. So this is the one that was grown in a new media, new to me at least, which is the general purpose potting mix. And I also did not see any dying of cutting, which is great. So 100% success rate so far. And as you can see, this is growing a new fuzzy, what do you call this, branch. This is growing. Everybody's growing. This is actually turning into an easy plant to care for. And I think I have a lot of confidence to care for it now, more than before when I killed it. Look at this funky growth. It's just curling outwards. Very cute. Yeah, looks like everybody's gonna make it. And just so you know, this is my conditions here. I have my air conditioner. I've been editing videos all day, so I've been in this room. It's air conditioned, so it's 23 degrees Celsius, 47 degrees humidity indoors, which is very different from outdoors. And this plant seems to do well both indoors and outdoors. So I mentioned earlier in the video, they come from southern China, which means that they are used to a little bit of cold, but not frost, if I'm not wrong. But comment down below if you know the exact climate that they love. But I actually water this plant every 2 to 3 days, and I water it pretty lightly, and I also can feel the weight of the pot to see if it's overwatered. Now if it feels heavy, or if I just watered it the day before, I back off basically. I don't want to keep it too wet. And actually this is a good tip too. Sometimes I would just squeeze the side of the pot like this to loosen it up a bit and give it some aeration inside. So this is getting consistent light because we are getting a rainy season, and I would consider this to be bright indirect light. And the last but not least, this is the one that we actually put back in the pot. This is actually one of the mother plant, and this is doing the best actually. It's put out a lot of vine, like longer vines. These are all baby leaves. So this is actually turning into a very, very satisfying propagation project. I want many pots of these, and of course I'm probably going to be selling some of these or trading them for other plants. But yeah, I'm getting very confident with the care. I hope that you guys do pick this up because this is a really beautiful Hoya. Look at the fuzziness. Once you get the hang of it, they're very easy to care for. I'm no longer nervous around them. So wish me luck on growing these out and propagating them and dealing with mealybugs. I hope that you guys are staying safe. I'm at Botanist on Instagram. Do DM me on any questions regarding plant care and propagations. I will see you in the next video. Bye.